Hello and welcome back. So you recall that in segment one of this, we outlined what being a legacy organisation means in the digital era for local government. We then in segment two went on and looked at efficiencies, these enormous efficiencies that are possible by using the logic of focus and leveraging standard digital capabilities, using the internet wherever possible rather than wasting public money. And in this third segment, I'm then going to talk about the innovation opportunities also available to you to rethink your services. So rather than just delivering the same old services more efficiently, which isn't going to please citizens either, we need to start thinking about how we can do things differently using new and emerging technologies. So this is my Futurology 2 section, how you can achieve innovation and reinvention of your businesses by using this emerging technology. So let's just take a look at what I find a useful definition of the difference between just doing things the same as you always did them, except digitally, and reinventing yourselves. So we hear these terms a lot, and I think it's helpful to distinguish between them. On the one hand, we have digitization, which is literally just loading your old legacy processes and ways of doing things up onto the internet and just automating what is there already. That is in stark contrast to the notion of digitalization. I know it's it's a kind of hard word. You can hear I find it hard to say, digitalization. But basically that is using the opportunities of new digital technologies to rethink what you should be doing in the first place. And I wanted to offer 2 or 3 examples in the UK that I've been closely associated with as examples of that. So what does this mean in real practical terms, in terms of inspiration that other people might think of in their own local contexts? Here's my first example. This is something that the organisation I used to run did in collaboration, of course, with Swindon Council in the United Kingdom, and it was to address the problem of fly tipping. So fly tipping, I'm sure you can recognise from the image on this slide, is when citizens dump waste along the side of the road. It's very expensive to collect this mixed waste like this. There may be hospital waste, garden waste, mixed black bag waste as it's called. There may be old fridges, mattresses, because you have to separate them all out, and that costs a lot of money using different contractors. So we looked at this and we looked at how we could use digital technologies to really revitalise, to rethink the services that the council was performing here entirely. And the way that we did is to say, okay, what are we trying to do? What is the user need? And the business problem that we have was, of course, over 300 instances of fly tipping on a regular basis, which needed to be identified and sorted out by the council. Having identified that problem, we then said, rather than building everything ourselves and hiring some big technology or small technology firm to build it from scratch, we said, what are the capabilities that we need in order to put together a new, completely brand new digital service to address this problem in an innovative way? And as you can see here, really what we needed was a way of identifying where this stuff was and a way of separating it out. So the solution we came up with was to get some cheap cameras and strap them to council trucks, so waste refuse trucks and buses. So these cameras are going round and round the environment all of the time. And all of the time they're uploading images into the cloud of the environment that they see. And then, of course, we needed to process it. So the capabilities we needed to interrogate all of that data happening when we're asleep all the time, with some optical character recognition, so how to sort through the pixels in a photograph and try and understand the different components. Some natural language processing maybe to read clues like brand names on white good appliances and things like that. And then, of course, some ways of thinking about that data. So once we've identified the data, can we use some process automation, some artificial intelligence, some machine learning to start to identify patterns in that data? We also, of course, want some geolocation services to record the locations of these various things. And so when we put all of these things together, basically what is happening is the trucks and buses are going round and round, they're uploading this data, and this is being sorted automatically into geolocated lists of similar items. So where all the dumped fridges, for example, are in Swindon Council, where each of those things is, and when there are enough of these items, then the council can automatically dispatch a contractor to collect those things. And all of this happens automatically with no human interaction at all. The interesting thing is this cost very, very little money. It cost a few £1,000s and was achieved within, I can't remember exactly, 3 to 4 months. Very, very efficient, very, very cheap. And the point is it rethought, it reinvented, it innovated how the council used to do things. It didn't just automate the old ways of doing things. And excitingly, if you remember from the last segment, we can identify common service patterns across what we do. So we reused this common service pattern. Okay, so optical character recognition, natural language processing, geolocation services, web services, and artificial intelligence, machine learning, to address a different problem. And here we have a problem of potholes. The council wanted to know where are all of the potholes in the roads, and can we identify and prioritise where we want to actually address these and to repair them. And so in this little video here, you can see an example of how we deployed the same building blocks, the same thinking. What do we want to do? Address the potholes and prioritise our repair schedule for those potholes so that a contractor can go out to the locations and fix the potholes. And how are we going to do it? Well, the same sorts of technologies that I've just taken you through, which was interesting. And then finally, during COVID period, we redeployed with Swindon the same thinking again, because again, we wanted to give vulnerable people who were shielding, who wanted maybe to release some information about themselves to local carers so that local carers could come and find them and give them support. We then used again some of these characteristics to rethink that. Where is a person of interest to us, to the council? What are their characteristics? Where is the location? And maybe how we can then deploy those to achieve an outcome. That's one example close to my heart. And that actually won in the UK the Public Sector AI Innovation of the Year award. Here's another example that I was involved in. So this is the Land Registry in the United Kingdom that records, of course, property ownership details, rethinking how that system works. At the moment, around the world, if you want to buy and sell property, I'm sure you will recognise these various silos. Look at the shapes again. So there's the purchaser, there's the seller, there are the solicitors, there's the land register, there are all these intermediaries here. And of course, it all takes time, costs lots of money, and is very stressful and frustrating. So we started to look at how, in fact, we can use blockchain technology, a common ledger and record across all of these silos to effectively enable people to buy and sell houses for as little as £150 in 48 hours, which is good for citizens, of course, and it's good for government because it takes a lot of cost out of the system potentially as well. Another example for you from the UK context, this is the Department for Transport, and this is their Department for Transport's website, so a bit like the Amazon and Microsoft websites I showed you in the last segment, saying to developers, look, we will release all of our live transport data to you so that you, developers, the market, can build this data into your own applications. Don't try and get the data yourselves. Look, just use this common platform of data that we're going to release as a government. And the result, certainly over here, was, for example, Citymapper, which is on many people's phones up and down the country. It's not a government organisation, but it uses this government data as its basis. So really the principle is rethinking and this reuse of capabilities to address business requirements that we are completely innovating and rethinking. We're using the possibilities that we understand of emerging cloud-based technology and services to change the very thinking about what we should be doing as a government and the way in which we should be doing it. Thank you.